So, as you know, I do 2 videos a day. And I only really do a 3rd video if something happens. And something has indeed happened. Because just as I had finished doing my 2 videos for the day, lo and behold, I just take a quick trip to Twitter and I see Liz Truss's name trending. And there's only two reasons Liz Truss's name trends. The first one is that it's to announce that we've done some sort of really piddly trade deal with a country that barely is like 1% contributing to our GDP. Indeed, most of the Caribbean countries that we side with are literally less than 1% of our exports and imports. They're worth nothing. Or it's to say that, oh look, we've done a trade deal with Canada. But in fact, we haven't done a trade deal with Canada. We've signed a rollover agreement with Canada, which at any moment Canada could literally go stopped instantly. That is not a trade deal. Or it's the absolutely god-awful Japan deal that we signed up to. A deal that overwhelmingly favours Japanese exporters and only favours us by about 17%. That is how bad that trade deal is, and I have said expect future trade deals to be based on that. So that's the first reason. So what's the second reason, you might add? Well, it's predominantly because Liz Truss has done something absolutely stupid. And that is exactly what she has done today, because she has decided, in her infinite wisdom, that she is going to insult her Australian counterpart. And this is an absolutely dumb tactic. You do not insult someone. And here's the thing. What should happen now is Australia, if they had any sense about them, should just walk away. Just walk away from it. That would be fantastic. Just say, oh, if that's how you're going to play, well, we don't need your trade. We've got literally bigger fish on our doorstep. We do not need British trade. We'll gladly trade on WTO terms, since apparently you lot were saying how fantastic trading on WTO terms is. Again, I would hope that is what the Australians would do, but unfortunately that's probably not going to be the case. But this is absolutely shocking that Liz Truss is behaving in this way. So today, we're not going to go to the English perspective because no one's reported on this yet from the UK. Instead, we're going to go to the Sydney Morning Herald. We're going to go, as I always say, it's always good to get different views. And in this case, we're going to the Sydney Morning Herald for this. So before we jump into that, please do remember to hit that like, share and subscribe button. And of course, down below, there is a link to my Patreon page, as well as my one-off donation link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can, buy me coffee. And as always, thanks very much for those people who do support me that way. So, as we said, this comes from the Sydney Morning Herald, and the title is The Uncomfortable Chair. Australians shocked by insulting British trade tactics. So straight away, that is not a good headline. Straight away, not a good headline at all. So, Britain's Trade Secretary Liz Truss has texted her Australian counterpart Dan Tehan in a bid to smooth over a rocky start to free trade talks in London this week after she was cited personally insulting him as inexperienced. A source to the Trade Secretary told Britain's Telegraph that she also planned on sitting Tehan in an uncomfortable chair in the Foreign Office, in the Foreign Office's famous Locarno room. She has also she also has to deal with her directly for 9 hours. So wow, what a tactic, Liz. sit your counterpart in the most uncomfortable chair possible and make them sit across from you 9 hours. Fantastic, fantastic way to get a trade deal. Global Britain, ladies and gentlemen. Give it a round of applause. Global Britain. Truss's allies also told the paper that the trade deal progress was glacially slow under Tehan. And let me tell you why. So at the moment, trade deals take a long time to discuss. No matter what, they always take a long time. You're at least looking at 7 to 10 years average. But you say, well, what about that Japan deal? Didn't we get that in like record time? We did. We did get that in record deal time. Because you know why? We went, here you go, Japan. Here's all this really favourable stuff for you. We just want a trade deal as fast as possible. We don't care. Just give us anything. And lo and behold, that trade deal favours Japan by over 89%. I mean, it's so bad that the UK's second largest investor, which is Japan, there are no rules in that trade agreement to help cover investing. You'd think if you were doing a trade deal with Japan, you would cover investing, considering they are our second largest foreign investor. And this is exactly the same tactic that they are approaching, I can guarantee, with the Australians. And I'd hope that other countries would pay and take notice that, you know, these at speed trade negotiations are only there because Liz Truss is trying to prove that Brexit is a success. Liz Truss is on a whirlwind tour around the UK this year because I guarantee you, at the end of this year, there will be a Tory leaflet, brochure, whatever, to explain this is the first year of Brexit. Look how fantastic it's got. And I guarantee you, because trade was a big pillar that the Brexiteers talked about, how wonderful we can go do all these amazing trade deals. We can do them better, quicker and faster than the EU. That is exactly what she's trying to do. And these trade deals are not going to be good for the UK. Because once you've signed a trade deal, it's very hard to actually get out or even alter them. So anyway, we continue. So the source described Tehan as inexperienced compared to Liz and claimed that Australia's most senior trade negotiator would have to show that he can play at this level. I'm gobsmacked. I really am. Anyway, it continued. They also continued to say that Australia needed to show us the colour of their money, the source said. They're great friends and of ours and talk a good game about free trade and wanting a deal. But they need to match those words with action. The briefing was met with disbelief in Australian quarters. While Tehan is relatively new to the cabinet position, he has decades of experience in diplomacy and trade negotiation. Bear in mind, before Liz Truss took her position, she had absolutely no experience. So the fact that she said that he is inexperienced compared to Liz Truss and that he showed that he needs to play on this playing field is completely insulting. So anyway, continues. He joined DEFTA in 1995 and served as a diplomat between 1990 and 2001 before helping negotiate Australia's free trade deal with the Bush administration in 2004 and when trade advisor to the trade minister between 2002 and 2005. And a senior DEFTA official speaking on the condition of anonymity said that Tehan was the most respected trade minister in decades given his experience in the department. He said, if this was briefed by a minister of Truss's staff, This was very disrespectful, the official said. It is also a very bad tactic. It won't work. The free trade talks have been set for Thursday and Friday at the Foreign Office. Britain's top diplomat in Canberra, Vicky Cherlham, denied that the chairs both ministers would be seated on are uncomfortable. Some people like to speculate. I know the venue that is being used, and certainly the chairs in the room in question are very comfortable, the UK's High Commissioner told the reporters in Parliament House in Canberra. Trindle defended the extraordinary attack on Mr. Tehan by saying that they were part of the tactics to get a better trade deal. Yeah, fantastic way to get a good trade deal. Let's just insult, Australia's top trade negotiator. Fantastic way to start a negotiation. Anyway, she said, all Australian ministers are welcome when they visit the UK, get a warm welcome, she said. This is a trade negotiation, so there will be tactics on both sides. But what we both want, and the political ambition between Britain and Australia there, is to get a gold standard trade deal. And in any trade negotiation, there will be tough talk, there will be compromise, but hope for a great outcome for both our countries and our economies. Asked if the UK was frustrated about Australia holding up negotiations, Trindle said, we're only in round 4, and the meeting between the two trade ministers was, quote, a way to put our representative cards on the table. Truss texted Tehan on Wednesday evening Australian time and said that she is looking forward to seeing him and hopes for a productive day when he arrives in London for talks on Thursday. A source close to Truss told The Herald and The Age that while the British are frustrated by blockages on trying to harmonise services and investment relations, they do not believe this is the fault of Tehan personally. Liz and Dan have struck up a really good relationship. There's mutual respect on both sides, the source said. There's mild frustration on both sides that more progress hasn't been made since Minister Tehan came on board, and we're not trying to lay the blame on the minister personally. Truss has personally invited Tehan to London for the talks, and he's understood that she's also set the length of the time of talks for their meeting in the Foreign Office as well. While Australia is happy to work on the trade deal with Britain, it is not seen as a vital boost to the economy, whereas the British government is desperate to sign new deals to justify Brexit. The UK opposition trade spokesman Emily Thornberry said that the remarks were a flagrant display of arrogance and disrespect. If Liz Truss wanted to sabotage her own trade negotiations with Australia, it's hard to see how she could have done it more effectively, Thornberry said. These remarks are insulting, arrogant, and entirely counterproductive. Let's be clear. They come from allies of a minister who hasn't negotiated a single trade deal that the UK didn't already have inside the EU. The British have all but shelved any pursuit of a trade deal with China and has made little progress on talks with the United States, meaning that Australia is set to become their first of the new major deals that Boris Johnson's government clinches. Tehan is currently in Europe meeting with the World Trade Organization's new boss, as well as officials in Brussels, for talks on the stalled EU-Australia Free Trade Agreement, before heading to London overnight to thrash out the final details on the deal with Britain. In January, Truss said on Twitter that she was thrilled to be named an honorary Australian of the Year of the UK in 2021, tagging in Tehan. Yeah, this is absolutely ridiculous. I genuinely cannot believe this is being done, but it's said clearly there. I mean, you said, let's just read that final point. Where is it? Because they said it there. Yeah, here it is. Australia is happy to work with Britain, but is not seen as a vital boost to economy. It is. It's not going to be a vital boost to our economy. We've said this multiple times. These deals with Australia and New Zealand are not going to be worth it. Yet it is going to be tried to use to justify Brexit. You know, this is the whole point of Liz Truss trying to run around. And ultimately, I guarantee you, when we see the trade deal, when it is signed, I guarantee you it is not going to be good. If the Japan deal is anything to go by, this Australian one is not going to be good either. So, as always, thanks for watching. Please do remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, down below there is a link to my Patreon page, as well as a one-off donation link as well called Buy Me a Coffee, where you can buy me a coffee. And as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you all next time.